Now that our site is published, we can start adding some content and personalizing it to be about us. So let's go ahead and open up our index.html file in our code editor. And the first thing we're going to do is inside this head section here, we're going to add a title tag, which will be the title of our web page. And since this is meant to be a personal website, I'll make the title my name. And if we go ahead and go open up our file in a web browser, you'll see the title up here at the top on the tab now says my name. So now we're going to use a tool called Bootstrap, which was developed at Twitter, and it makes it really easy to create nice looking mobile friendly websites using what's called the class attribute inside of these tags. So if we go ahead and head over to their website, which is getbootstrap.com, and we want version 4.0, and we want to copy some of the text here. So first, under the CSS section, we're going to hit copy, and then inside our head at the very end, below our title, we're going to paste that in. And then under this JS section here, we're going to copy that. And at the end of our body, we'll paste that in. So now we can use some of the tools Bootstrap has for us. So the first thing we're going to do is on our body, we're going to say class equals d-flex, flex-column, and style equals min-height 100 VH. Then inside our body, we're going to create a header section, and we're going to say class equals bg-danger, which is red, py-3, which means 3 units of padding, mb-3, which means 3 units of margin, and then position-relative. And then inside the header section, we're going to create a div class equals container. And inside that div, we'll go ahead and cut and paste our hello world h1 tag. And on the h1 tag, we'll say class equals display-3 text-white mt-5 mb-2. And I'll change out hello world for our name, because again, this is a personal site. And if we go ahead and refresh our file, we'll see that we now have our name up here in big white font on a red background, which is exactly what we want. So now, below our h1 tag, we'll go ahead and say p to create a paragraph section, class equals lead mb-2 text-white, and inside there we'll add a sentence or two about ourselves. So I'll say NCSU PackHacks 2021 instructor. So if we go ahead, we'll see it says PackHacks instructor, just like we wanted. Now, I'll go ahead and keep the page up so we don't have to keep switching back and forth. If we go below our header section and create a main section, do class equals container. Inside there, we'll add a image by making an img tag and then saying class equals mx-auto to center it. And then we'll say d-block for how it should be displayed, int-4 to separate it a bit from our name and one sentence tagline down above. Then we'll say src equals, and I already have a picture called me.jpg right next to index.html in the PackHacks site project folder. So I'm going to go ahead and say me.jpg, but you call it whatever your picture is called. And then I'm going to close the tag. Notice how unlike these tags here, which are separate from the main one, this one just has a slash at the end. This is called a self-closing tags, and you'll see them mostly in things like images. So finally, what we're going to do to style the image, because if we were to save and see the image now, we see it's way too big for our page and doesn't look right. It's way too big. So we're going to say style equals width 15 em, so now it can be maximum 15 wide. And then we're going to say border dash radius 100%, and this will make our image circular. So if we refresh the page now, we see the image is a nice size and a circle right in the middle of our screen. If your image is kind of a weirder size, like it's really wide, this circle might look more like an oval, so you might need to resize your image to make it look like a perfect circle. So finally, below our image tag, we'll do a h2 tag, and we'll write about me inside. If we were to refresh that, we see it creates some medium-sized text here that says about me. And below that, we're going to create a horizontal line across the whole page by doing an HR tag, and this one's also self-closing, just like the image. Now we see we have this very narrow, almost doesn't show up, horizontal line across the page. Then what we're going to do after that is we're going to create a paragraph tag, and we're going to write some stuff about ourselves in here. So maybe just like, hi, my name is William, and I am an instructor at NCSU PackHacks 2021. And then maybe some stuff about where you go to school or what your hobbies are. So I can say, I am a junior in mathematics and computer science at NC State. When I'm not doing math or coding, I like to travel, cook, and go on hikes. Just a few sentences about ourselves. Yours might be more about maybe if you had internship experience, what's going on with that, what did you do? Or it can be a little more casual, like I did with hobbies here. And obviously you can make it a lot longer than I did, just a few sentences, but you can see it shows up nicely down here. And we'll go ahead and add a link to PackHacks while we're at it. So I want this text here to be a link. So what I'm going to do is create an A tag, and I'm going to put NCSU PackHacks inside it. And then inside the A tag, I'm going to say href equals, and then a link to PackHacks website. So that's ncsu.packhacks.org. Great. And then if I refresh, we'll see that this link is blue now, and if we click it, it brings us to the PackHacks site. So finally, we're going to create a footer, which is going to have some links to things like our GitHub, or our email, and LinkedIn. You can put whatever you want there. Maybe you have a link to a project you've done that has its own website, or you want to link to, if you worked with a professor on research, you can link to their lab, anything like that. So what we're going to do is below our main section, we're going to say footer class equals mt-auto py-3 bg-dark, and that's going to make a dark gray footer section. And we'll see that creates a dark gray box down here at the bottom of the page. Inside there, we can add some information. So we'll say div class equals container. And inside that div section, we'll create 3 link tags to link to, I'll do my GitHub, email, and LinkedIn. So A. So that's my GitHub, and I'll write GitHub is the link text here. Then I'll write another one that goes to my email. If you have a school email or a personal, obviously you can use either. It's up to you. And then we'll say email. And then here we'll do another one, and this will go to our LinkedIn. And we'll say LinkedIn, and we'll make sure to capitalize everything. So now, if we refresh the page, we'll see down here we have GitHub, email, and LinkedIn. But I think they'd look better if they were centered down here at the bottom of the page. So after container in our class, we're going to do text/center. That is going to put those centered. And I won't go through how here, but you can use a tool called Font Awesome, and that's going to make it so you can use things, say like emojis or other symbols instead of text down here. So I can show you what that looks like on my own website. You see that I have an @ sign for my email, a little GitHub octocat for my GitHub, and then the LinkedIn logo here. So you can do something like that on your own site. So now we have a much better looking main page. Recruiters or anyone else who visits it can see some information about us, and they have some basic ways to see some of the stuff we wrote and ways to connect with us. So I think we're ready to go ahead and push these changes up for everyone to see. So let's go ahead and open up GitHub. And if you do git status, you'll see in red here the things we've changed. So we've modified index.html, and we have this new file called me.jpg, which is the picture. So we want to add both of those. So we'll just say git add dot. Then if we were to git status again, you see they're in green, meaning they're ready to be committed, they're staged. So now let's go ahead and commit them by saying git commit -m, and we'll say changed index.html to nice looking about me page. So now they're committed locally, and we just need to push them up to GitHub. And to do that, we can just say git push, again, it might ask you guys to sign in, but it remembers my information for me, so it just does it automatically. So now if we go to that site, which was packhacks.github.io/packhacks site, obviously yours will be different. We'll see that site just like we wanted it. And it looks exactly like it does locally. You can't tell a difference, except all your friends can go and visit this link and they can't go see a file on your computer. So if you've done all of that and everything looks the same, then you're all set for this step. It might take a few minutes for your changes when you push into GitHub to show up. So if it doesn't show up immediately like it did for me, just wait a few minutes before checking if anything's wrong. It might just be GitHub's kind of slow.